CityCast Pittsburgh is brought to you today by Overlook Maps. If you need help remembering the amazing cafe you discovered last summer or that perfect hiking spot you've heard about, Overlook Maps is for you. With the Overlook mobile app, you can create personalized lists of places that you've been to and want to go, and always see everything on a handy-dandy map. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family, or keep your secret spots private just for you. The best part, no ads cluttering your lists, and no one selling your interests or your travel data. Download the free app at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Pittsburgh to see a few CityCast lists on a map and in your pocket. Overlookmaps.com. Collect and share the places that matter to you. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, Upright Citizens Brigade, the world-renowned comedy group full of Saturday Night Live alums, they just opened a full-scale training center here in Pittsburgh in partnership with Bottle Rocket Social Hall up in Allentown. It is UCB's first location outside of New York and LA, which has us asking why. Why did this famous improv group choose Pittsburgh? Are we a comedy destination now? And with all of these people coming through, with all these celebrities being spotted at Kennywood, is Pittsburgh poised to get a little bit funnier? It's Tuesday, August 26th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm with Chris Copen, partner and owner at Bottle Rocket Social Hall in Allentown. Welcome to CityCast Pittsburgh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Megan.
I'm going to start you off with an easy one, I hope. Is Pittsburgh a funny city?
I think it's definitely a funny city. I mean, listen to the accent. You know what I mean?
Can you do a Yinzer accent? I cannot.
Oh God, I'm not even gonna try on an audio podcast. That would be bad for all involved. I mean, I think everybody can say downtown. You know what I mean?
That's the one that we've all got.
Yeah, but I think Pittsburgh's a really funny city. I think it's a very distinct city, and from distinctness, comedy can come. You know what I mean? Very distinct people, very distinct accent, very distinct things that we like or don't like. Yeah, I've always thought it was a funny place to be.
I've always heard that like having a strong voice, a strong perspective, a strong point of view is like part of what is at the root of good comedy. I don't know if that's true. I mean, what do you think? What makes for good comedy, especially at the local level like we experience it?
Yeah, that's such a nuanced, tough question. You know what I mean? Because so many different things could be it could be funny to so many people. You know what I mean? I always find myself, attracted to, unique voices, unique perspectives, and, the observations that spring out of that. That's what I find myself really interested in, especially in the, I guess you'd call it the alternative comedy community, alternative scene.
Is that what Bottle Rocket is? Is it alternative?
I think so. Yeah, I think when we opened, that was definitely the guide map that we tried to follow, as we wanted to be an alternative comedy club, in every sense of the word, whether it's not having 2 drink minimums or, the type of acts that we're able to platform and bring into the city.
Wait, I didn't realize other comedy clubs had drink minimums.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of the standard comedy club business practice is a 2 drink minimum. So, $30, $40 to get in the door, and then in the door you have to buy 2 $15 icy lights, and for me.
I'm glad you're not even pretending that we're drinking highbrow.
No.
When there's wood paneling on the wall, it's going to be an icy light.
Of course. And I think for me, I was 22 when we started thinking about Bottle Rocket, and then 23 when we opened. And, I loved comedy, and I never went to comedy clubs because it was just not in the budget, not something I wanted to spend that level of money on, or could. So, for me, I was like, there's got to be a whole audience of people out there that are like me, that like this stuff, but are not getting to go to these spaces and not seeing these shows. So, can we present an alternative to them, and would they come? And, that was kind of the original thesis, and I guess what we still hold on to and still try to do.
Dude, it seems like it's working. I mean, I've been to Bottle Rocket a handful of times. I've been lucky to get a ticket because y'all are getting some like really like impressive names coming through Pittsburgh. Like, why is Pittsburgh suddenly on the comedy map? Like, is it Bottle Rocket or is it the city or is it the combo?
I think it's kind of a combination. I mean, a lot of these people are people that wouldn't have come to Pittsburgh if Bottle Rocket wasn't here. That's for sure. And that's why we opened, because I loved these comedians and I wanted to be able to bring them to the city, to a city that they weren't coming to otherwise. But, the flip to that is they wouldn't come if audiences weren't coming to see them. You know what I mean? And if there wasn't a cool, smart audience here to greet them when they come to the city, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I know Bottle Rocket has a really great reputation in the industry, which we're definitely lucky to have and feel super honored to have. But I think a big part of that reputation is that we get great crowds, and the crowds are, a reflection of the city more than they are us. So I think it's a combination of those two things, yeah. But we've been really lucky to work with some amazing, huge names, really funny people. Even some of the smaller names we work with, I think, are really, really funny.
Name drop for me. Like, shout yourself out.
Pete Davidson at the beginning. This month alone, this month, you look at the calendar and it's crazy. I mean, Pete Davidson, Ron Funches, Robbie Hoffman. Right now, we're in the middle of Please Don't Destroy, doing 3 nights, 6 shows. In the past, it's been people like Melissa Villasenor, Chris Fleming, Caleb Heeran, all these, huge names.
You're clearly on the Saturday Night Live like roadmap now.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because we were just talking about that with Please Don't Destroy last night. They were like, everybody told us to come here. Like, everybody on the show told us we had to come here specifically. And we've had, half the cast: Sarah Sherman, Michael Longfellow, Andrew Dismukes, Devin Walker. Like, we've had almost the entire cast at this point in the last year or two.
Does that feel wild for you? Like, Bottle Rocket has not been open all that long.
I know, it's been 3.5 years. It definitely feels wild. I think, I don't want to say you get used to it, because we definitely feel really lucky to be doing what we're doing, and we feel lucky to be working with the acts that we bring in. But it doesn't feel, insane to meet these people anymore and have them walk through the door. I mean, when Will Ferrell came through the door and we were able to act normal, that was like, okay, we're kind of normal around anyone at this point. So yeah, I think it's been a great thing. I think it's been word of mouth with the comedians. Sarah Sherman comes and she has a great time, and she tells everybody at SNL that they have to come, and then they want to come. And then it's like, well, why is everybody else doing it, but I'm not doing it? I need to go do it.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Family House. Get ready, Pittsburgh, because their 42nd annual Family House Polo Match is coming our way on Saturday, September 6th at Heartwood Acres. It's presented by F&B, and it's an all-day event with a little something for everyone. So a professional polo match, not a thing you get to see all that often here in Pittsburgh, a vintage car show by the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, live music, food trucks, tailgating, a silent auction, kids activities. By the way, kids under 12 get in for free, and so much more. Come out and support a great cause while enjoying a truly special day. All the proceeds benefit Family House, which is a nonprofit here in our region, providing safe, affordable lodging for patients and caregivers traveling to Pittsburgh for medical care. Do not miss it, September 6th at Heartwood Acres. Tickets and more information are at familyhouse.org/polo. We'll see ya on the field.
Today's show is brought to you by the Frick Pittsburgh and this magical exhibition that's on view in their greenhouse right now. It's called Catching Sunbeams from the Porch Swing of Wisteria Castle, and I can personally attest it is exactly as whimsical as it sounds. The greenhouse at Frick is already pretty special. It's this beautiful, peaceful space that you can enter totally for free, kind of a hidden oasis right in the city. But this exhibition really takes it to another level. There are all of these incredible sculptures made out of metal mesh and wire that hang from the windows and ceilings. They look kind of cloud-like and dreamy. The artist who created them, Atticus Adams, says he was inspired by childhood memories of spending time with his grandma on her porch swing. It's so sweet. The exhibition is on display through October 26th, and I highly recommend checking it out. Step into joy and the Frick Greenhouse.
Well, let's talk about like what's behind that, because you're talking about like the Pittsburgh crowds make it possible. Bottle Rocket is obviously the space. Like, what makes Pittsburgh special in your mind? Like, is it the things that we like and find are funny? Like, I'm curious, like what makes this magic happen?
I mean, I think it's a combination of things, right? Like, I think from a comedy perspective, or I guess from our business perspective, it's demographically it works really well with what we do, right? Like, there's a lot of colleges here, there's younger people here, there's a cool kind of artistic community here. I know my friend Julian Glander, he just made a great movie called Boys Go to Jupiter that's going into theaters nationally, I think, in a week or two, and it has a lot of people that come to Bottle Rocket in the cast. But he talks all the time about like what a great city Pittsburgh is to be an artist, because there's a real, or you can live a really nice lifestyle as a working artist here, and I think that that's true for a lot of people. And I think that that gives us a really interesting mix of people and people coming to see the shows. I think the thing that I always have loved about Pittsburgh is I feel like Pittsburgh is a city where, hard work is still rewarded, or hard work is still looked upon as a positive thing. I think I lived in Los Angeles for a while, and it was kind of like, oh, if you're working hard, you're trying
doing
a
it
little
wrong.
bit. Yeah, you're trying a little bit too hard. You know what I mean? It's like, don't let them see you sweat. It's not cool to work hard. And I feel like Pittsburgh, it's cool to be passionate about stuff. It's cool to work really hard. It's cool to want to do things, and there's more opportunity to do that just with the cost of living. And I mean, only in Pittsburgh could I have owned a bar at 23 years old. I had no experience owning. My only experience in a bar was being a busboy. You know what I mean? Like,
And drinking, maybe a little bit.
I don't even drink.
No way. Oh my gosh.
I drink every now and then, but I'll have like one beer a month, maybe.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
It also makes the 2-drink minimum make more sense too.
Yeah, of why I would not. Yeah, because I would go to a comedy club and it's like a Pepsi is $10 and I need to drink 2 of these. I was not into it. That type of opportunity for me as a 22-year-old just like wouldn't exist anywhere else. And I think that's really exciting. And I think a big part of our success is we've been very loud about the things we care about and are passionate about. And people respond to that, people respond to passions. So that's why I love Pittsburgh. And that's why I guess Bottle Rocket's been successful in it.
I honestly think that's the only reason CityCast Pittsburgh can exist too, is because like people will nerd out with us, which is like an amazing 100%. Thing.
Definitely.
Well, clearly it's working. Something at Bottle Rocket, you've captured this kismet, because not only are you bringing in huge names and big crowds, now Upright Citizens Brigade is coming, which is, founded by Amy Poehler. I guess of Saturday Night Live fame. She's done so many things now. How is that going to change what Bottle Rocket is able to offer, and like how you think maybe the comedy scene is going to change here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think, on the Bottle Rocket side, I think it's definitely, being connected to a bigger thing is exciting, and it gives us way more opportunity and way more connections to make things happen. I know when Pete wanted to come, they emailed us like a week before and we're like, hey, Pete Davidson is interested in doing a show with you guys. Can you make it work? And we were like, yes, definitely. And then we didn't hear anything for a few days. And at that point, I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. Like, we've had
this
happen
before. He had to get to Kennywood. He had priorities.
Yeah. But we've had this happen before where, like, a big name says they want to come. We're like, we can make it happen. And then it just doesn't get across the line for whatever reason. So I was able to call, at that point, I called the UCB team and the guy at the head of it. And I was like, hey, I think this might happen. I know you know Pete a little bit. Like, if there's anything we can do to get it across the line, that'd be great. And within like 30 minutes, I got the phone call that was like, it's confirmed. We're going to do it. Let's get working. So,
Chris, you know people now.
Yeah, it's cool. And so that helps, is bringing in teams like that, or bringing in some of the really big UCB shows like ASCAT, which is coming in September. It's like UCB's flagship improv show. So that's cool, and having opportunities for those people to also do workshops with the local community, like do improv workshops and sketch. We just had on Friday a sketch workshop with a writer from Saturday Night Live, where I think it was 20 students were able to take a class with an active writer for SNL and do sketch notes and that type of stuff, which is really like a rare opportunity. I feel like even in New
I
York,
bet.
you don't get that type of thing.
Well, and that's the thing. UCB only exists in LA and New York, and
Right.
now
It's
Pittsburgh,
LA, New
which
York, and
feels
Pittsburgh.
very random. Like, why Pittsburgh?
I think because that's where Bottle Rocket was. You know what I mean? I think
Like,
we
you're
went to
that
them.
big. Like, Bottle Rocket's that big that you have that kind of pull.
I mean, I think that like in November we started talking about we want to expand and we want to do something else and see what else is out there, and so we started talking to different partners about what that would look like, and UCB was one of those people, and the more we started talking to them, the more both sides were like, this is a really good fit. I think at the same time we were thinking about expanding. UCB was having those conversations of like, how do we get outside of New York and LA?
I've also heard that the current head of UCB is from Pittsburgh, and I'm guessing that did not hurt.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jimmy Miller is he's one of the owners of UCB now. He's from Pittsburgh. I actually used to be his intern in
No way.
LA.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So I had that and that's how it started. Is I just called him and I was like, hey, I know you may not remember me. I used to be your intern. We're looking to find a partner. If you'd be interested, I sent him an email, and like not even 2 minutes later, he called me on the phone. Was like, I'm definitely interested. I'm coming to Pittsburgh this weekend. I want to see the bar. So like 3 days later, he was here and we were talking. It made sense to do it, and it made sense the fact that it was in Pittsburgh. Jimmy loved that, and yeah, it just like the more we lined up, the more we were like, this is a good idea, that's pretty much all you can ask for.
Today's show is sponsored by Turbo Tenant. Managing a property here in Pittsburgh is not exactly simple. There can be a lot to keep track of, whether you've got a duplex in Squirrel Hill or a few row houses in the South Side. Turbo Tenant can make it easier. It's free, it's online, and it handles everything from listings to leases to rent collection without the usual stress. So no matter where you are in the rental process, say just listing and looking for new tenants, or years into managing multiple properties, Turbo Tenant says they can help you get high-interest leads, screen those applicants, create their leases, and collect rent all in one place. And again, all totally free. More than 800,000 landlords already use Turbo Tenant. It takes 10 minutes to make and publish a new listing. Give it a try and get started today at turbotenant.com. That's turbotenant.com. Super simple, super useful. Sell me, I guess, on what good improv is, because I feel like so many of us have this impression. I can speak for myself. I went to so many, probably
Terrible
100
improv shows.
Shows when I was in college that my friends did, and I love them so much. The sweetest humans. A few of them are still actors. Their improv was bad. It was real bad.
I mean, that's kind of the biggest hurdle with improv, right? And I think that's something we talk about internally at UCB is there's nothing worse than bad improv. Just straight up, there's nothing more embarrassing.
Just an audience
to watch.
Full of family members trying really hard to clap in the sad spots.
It's embarrassing to watch. It's embarrassing to do. But it's funny because you would never go to your friend's band, and if they were bad, be like, I don't like music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But improv, you go see a bad one and you're like, yeah, I just don't like improv. Improv's not for me.
But I don't think anybody's taken it to I don't, if you go to a bad improv show, you don't say, I don't like comedy. I do think there's a difference there.
But we do get that with stand-up sometimes. People be like, oh, I just don't like stand-up comedy. And we're like, well, why? And they're like, oh, I went to a bad show and it's just not for me. It's stand-up is so wide and so varied. That's kind of crazy. It's like saying you don't like music to me,
Got it. Yeah.
But yeah, I think
But this is a hurdle you got to get over.
Definitely. And I think that's what UCB, that's where I guess the difference with UCB is UCB has a 4-level curriculum. That's the base of UCB, right? It's 4 levels, 101 through 401. That's been honed over 20 years, and it's the curriculum that has launched to huge careers, like Donald Glover or Aubrey Plaza or, Broad City or Kate McKinnon, right? This is the exact same training, exact same curriculum that those people were able to take. and, become the very funny people that they are. And it's like a very strict set of curriculum, very strict set of principles. There's a whole like textbook that we follow and teach, so it's not like people say like, oh, improv is just making stuff up, which obviously that's like the core of the art form. But, there's real backbone and principle that goes into really high level improv that's been proven to work and been proven to create this high standard, and that's what we're going to be able to bring to Pittsburgh for the first time as like an official UCB school, So I think that's part of the pitch, and I think selling people on getting that training is obviously a big part of it, but a big part of it too is that we're going to be able to bring out these really high level troops from New York and LA and show people what great improv is. For a lot of them, I'm sure it's going to be the first time they see an improv show.
Well, and a lot of these, like, people in the comedy scene, they often make the transition to film. Like, it's also a great opportunity for the city to like showcase ourselves, and maybe they bring a production here someday.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the big idea of this whole thing, is, UCB didn't really want to keep waiting for talent to come and find them in New York and LA, and they were looking to get people where they were, and if they were in Pittsburgh.
I love it. I love hearing that like major institutions like them in like our power cities are like, you know what, the mid-sized markets though, like that might be where it's at.
Well, I think too, it's just, people aren't moving to New York or LA. Like it's so much harder to move there. You know what I mean?
I mean, who could afford it, really?
Right. Yeah. And I think if you're interested in improv, like you're not going to move out to New York or LA to do improv like maybe you did at one point, right? So I think now there's an opportunity to find people in the cities where they are and get them in the UCB pipeline, give them the training. And if, we identify people that we think are really, really talented, then yeah, we can give them that opportunity to go to New York or LA, and we can put them through this pipeline. I mean, it's not just UCB. We're tied in with this production company, Absolutely Productions, which, they produce Nathan For You and Tim and Eric and Comedy Bang Bang and like all these really fantastic TV shows and comedy specials. And, that's tied into this too, where we're going to be able to bring out people that they've produced or that they've worked with, bring them to Bottle Rocket and, have that tie. If we think someone local is like amazing, we can connect them directly with this production company. It's like a big, I guess we refer to it as like a tent, like a big tent of all these comedy people and things. And, that's the most exciting thing to me.
What's the timeline on all of these? The workshops, the textbook, as it were? Like, how can people get involved?
Yeah, the classes are enrolling. We actually just started our first 101 class on Saturday, and I think we have 5 more scheduled through October that are all sold out right now, but we have more coming online soon. So, the classes are filling up really fast, and that's great. I know we're going to have a diversity scholarship rolling out soon. A college scholarship rolling out soon, and we're going to be doing more workshops. So, the workshops are great if you don't have a ton of time to commit. You don't have 1 day a week for 8 weeks to commit to a 101. And those are more like 1 days, 2 day intensives. But then, obviously Improv 101 is like the bedrock of what UCB does. And I would encourage everybody to look into that if they're interested in improv, or even if they just want to meet people. I mean, we have UCB in New York and LA, like so many people that they get are just people that want to meet people and try something new, and you can do that with a world renowned curriculum at the same time. And you're in a class with 15 other people learning a new skill, trying something, and, not being embarrassed about it, I guess.
I hope you end up with this fun cross section of like wannabe funny people with high achievers that like are excited to take like the really like good curriculum,
I think that's exactly what we're going to get. I mean, I think our first class, we had everybody from like college kids to 60-year-olds who were like, I just want to try something new, and that's what's great about improv is anybody can do it. It doesn't take anything to do it. It takes you and a brain,
Well, I was going to ask you if you think Pittsburgh can become a comedy destination, but it sounds like maybe we already kind of are.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of already are, we just get so many great comedians that want to do Bottle Rocket before they go out and do their big theater tours, and they want to work stuff out in a small room. And yeah, I feel like that plus UCB, a real UCB, like if it's not a comedy destination, it will be very, very shortly.
Well, that's in no small part thanks to you, Chris. Thank you so much. I can't wait to come to a show, although it's getting increasingly difficult.
It's getting tough. Yeah,
it's hard to get a ticket at your spot
now. Tickets are
now.
selling out. Yeah, so if you see a show you want to go to, just get the ticket because decent chance it will be sold out by the time it comes up. Yeah, we've been lucky with that. So.
Well, we're huge cheerleaders of Yen's. Congratulations. It's so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Check out our show notes or that Hey Pittsburgh newsletter for links to Bottle Rocket and their upcoming shows, workshops, and that Improv 101. It looks so much fun. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
Will just came in as like a guest, and that was wild because we didn't really know he was going to come until he was there. And then it was like, you're Will Ferrell. Like I'm talking to Will Ferrell right now.
That must be his whole life too, though. Like people just staring at him like, oh my gosh, you're Will Ferrell.
And he spent in that 30 minutes, 45 minutes asking me questions and asking about Bottle Rocket. And I was like, I want to ask you questions. Yeah, it's cool that I own this bar, but you're Will Ferrell. Like, let me ask you questions.